Okay, good morning, friends. We are bigdatahandson.com. So today is our fourth session. So from today we are going to start Python. So introduction to Python, setting up the environment and data types, variables and operators. Today we will cover, and from day 4 to 14, I think 14 we will do completely Python, and then we'll move on to machine learning. So from 15 to 29 we have machine learning sessions, and then from 30 to we have 30 to 40 we have deep learning sessions, and then these two 41 and 42 are natural language processing, and from 43 to 50 we have uh, reinforcement learning algorithms. Okay, so this is our agenda, and yesterday and previous day videos are these three.
Hi,
Day
Irfan.
one is hi.
Yeah, sorry, Irfan, for the interruption.
Okay, no
Is
problem.
it possible to record the session
Yeah,
by
we
that
are
we do?
recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
are
all right,
recording
okay.
the session.
All right, all right. Yeah. Thank you,
Okay,
thank you. Yeah.
it is the every sessions is recorded, and we'll upload the videos in the YouTube channel. Okay, so these three
Perfect. Yeah.
videos. Okay, yeah. So from day one we covered introduction to artificial intelligence, and we covered descriptive statistics, and then day two we covered inferential statistics, and day three yesterday we cover probability, and then probability distributions. Okay, so these videos will be uploaded in our YouTube channel. So before that, our website, we are bigdatahandson.com. So bigdatahandson.com, if you go, this is our website. So our videos here you can see in the meetup uploads, meetup videos tab. If you go there, you will see the videos. Sometimes it is not coming. Our YouTube channel, bigdatahandson.com. You go YouTube, and go to the bigdatahandson.com. If you type, it will come, and these three videos are uploaded. Previous three videos you can see here. If you subscribe our scan channel, then you will get all the updates. Okay, so let's move on to our session. Okay, so now we are going to see introduction to Python. Okay, so now we are learning a language. So why we need to learn these languages? Okay, so Python, when you know that like Python is a language, so programming language used by most of the developers. So why they are choosing the Python, and what is the Python? So we learn this today, and uh, the peoples who are not in the field of this technological, no, though they don't know what is the programming languages. So to tell them the programming language is like a communication tool. So what we have now, so I am speaking to you in English, or if I speak Tamil, so these are the languages to communicate with humans, right? So the English, Tamil, all the languages are a communication tools. Okay, so like that, if I want to talk to computer and tell them do this, so if I want to command the computer, so I need to know their language, the computer language, right? So that time we need a language. Okay, so computer understands only binary language, that is zero and ones. So it is very hard to code machine code, no. So they developed the machine code into a low level language, that is assembly language. So that assembly language also, if you want to print hello world, you need to type at least 10 to 15 lines of code you need to type. Okay, so that also very difficult to understand normal people who are not in the technical field. So they developed a programming language, high level language, that is high level language. Now the high level language are like what to say, you can understand and easily you can read what is the code here. So because it is all in the English language, so all the codes in Python just English keywords like if, for, while, that is English keywords, no, like that we use in Python. Okay, so this language will be very easy to understand. uh, okay, so that's why they are picking this language. Okay, so this language is came in 1995, I think. So 1995, 1990 itself, yeah, 1990 itself is came. And now it is growing up because of the artificial intelligence, we know that. So in artificial intelligence, uh, the coding part is needs to be very easy. Okay, that's why they are choosing Python. Okay, and what is Python? So we already know that it is a high level language and object oriented language. So object oriented we will see on later sessions. What is object oriented in depth we will see. And programming and scripting language. Okay, so in the computer language we have two types of languages. One is programming languages and we have scripting languages. So what is programming languages and what is scripting language? What is the difference between them, right? So the programming language, for example, I will say C, C++, Java are programming languages. For scripting languages I will say PHP, Ruby. These are what scripting languages. So what is difference between them? So programming languages, in every language, okay, so every language, if I speak Tamil, you will not understand, right? So why is because you don't know Tamil. There should be a language translator, so to translate from Tamil to English, right? So in the same way, so we know a high level language, that is Python. Okay, so but the computer don't know the Python language. It is only it notes only zero and ones, the binary language. So that should be a language translator to convert from Python code to what, machine code. Okay, so the language translator is what, the compiler. In programming languages you will say compiler. So compiler is a translator, from it will convert one language to another language, right? So this compiler, what it will do, it will read all the code and then in one shot it will convert into machine code. Okay, so in scripting language, what we have, in scripting language we have interpreter. So the compiler and interpreter, we have two options, right? So programming languages uses compiler, scripting languages uses interpreter. So what is difference between the compiler and interpreter, right? So the difference between them is so compiler will read the code in one shot. It will read whole code, it will read in one shot. But in the interpreter will not read the whole code. It will read line by line, right? It will read line by line and convert into machine code. Read first line, convert into machine code and run the code. And then second line, convert into machine code and run the second line. So like that it will do line by line. Okay, so this is the difference between the compiler and interpreter. So why we are saying Python is programming and scripting? So some people used to say Python is a programming language, and some people used to say Python is a scripting language. But uh, actually, Python is a both programming and scripting language. So why this is called programming and scripting language? I will explain it in the latest slides. I will explain it to you. And dynamic typing language. In all the languages, no, if I want to create a variable, right? Variable a, let's say variable a. So what I need to do, a equal to, let's say 10, right? So in C++, Java, who knows, uh, they usually uh, put the what data type here. So a equal 10, what is the type of 10? 10 is a numerical type, it is integer, it's called an integer in programming languages. So don't worry about this, I will explain all the data types. Okay, so it is called integer. So they used a data type. Actually they are assigning the data type of this variable, it is integer. Okay, so if you want to create a decimal value, I need to put float here. Okay, so this is the static type of language typing languages, because we are giving the type of the variable integer. Okay, so now I cannot assign a float to the integer a. Okay, right? So that's why it is a static type of typing languages. But Python is a programming, sorry, dynamic typing language. What it does mean, it means you don't have to specify the data type. Okay, you don't have to specify the data type. Anytime any value you can assign to the variable. So a equal 10, I can say a equal 10, or a equal to some decimal values, it's not matters. Okay, so anytime anywhere we can change the values of the variable. Okay, so without changing the type, right? This is a dynamic typing languages. So Python supports the dynamic typing language. Okay, so now then we move on to the next slide. Who created Python? So Python is created by Guido van Rassen. Its image on the right side, you can see that. So he works for Centrum Viscount Informatica. He is currently member of the Python Steering Council. Then, so we know that Python is not a snake name. It is came from British comedy series, Monty Python's Flying Circus. So he took the name from this British comedy series, Monty Python's Flying Circus. From this he took the Python, and yeah, so that's why the name itself, the Python, came. Okay, now then the why learn Python? So why we need to learn the Python? So Python is a, it is a feature in Python. Python is a portable and platform independent language. So what does mean? It means like you can run Python code anywhere. Okay, literally anywhere we can run. So I will show you 5 methods. I will show you, then the next slides I will show you 5 methods of running Python code. Okay, so it is portable and platform independent, so we can run Python in different type of operating systems, Linux, what, Windows or Mac, all the uh, OSs we can run the Python. And okay, so that's why it is portable and platform independent. Okay, ease of learning. So who, the people who are not in the technical field also, they can understand Python, because 2 or 1 month of training itself it is okay. And they can code. Okay, they can code the computer languages using Python. It is very easy to learn Python, because if we want to print hello world, no, so in other languages at least 5 lines of code needs to be written. But in Python it is just a single line. You can run a single line. Okay, and ease of coding. Coding is not much harder than other languages, it is very easy to code. And it has more libraries. So libraries in sense, libraries means the codes are developed by the developers, so you don't have to start from the beginning. So the developers of Python already written some code, you can use the codes. So the codes are libraries. Okay, codes developed by the developers, they are libraries. So in Python we have lakhs of libraries. So that way it is more, it has more the libraries. And then fastest growing languages. So we know that nowadays the Python is growing, so because of the new concept, artificial intelligence. So that's why it is growing now. And okay, where Python is used, where the Python is used, Python is used in Google. So in the Google, there are most of the developers are using Python. And YouTube, so YouTube uses Python to stream their videos. Okay, YouTube videos are streamed by Python. And Yahoo, NASA, Reddit, these are the examples. They are using Python. Okay. And installation. So next slide. Now we will see installation. So installation of what so operating systems changes, installation will be changed. So first I will go to the Google. I will open Chrome. So first I will show you for the Windows users how can you install the Python. So first open the Chrome and then type python.org. Okay, so this is a website of official website of Python. So there you can find the compilers. Okay, so Python compilers you can download from here. So just go to the downloads and you can select Windows also, I think. Yeah, just select the Windows. And if you are Mac OS, then select the Mac OS. Okay, after selecting the Windows, you will be in this page. Okay, and then in Python we have a two, first it came 1.x and then 2.x, and now the version is 3.x. So we'll go with the latest version, 3.x, 3.9.0. This is the latest version. Okay, and after clicking that link you will be this in here, this page. And now scroll down to the bottom. So you will see this files. So which file I need to choose? So there are two types. One is 64-bit and 32-bit. So just to see in your Windows machine, see what is your structure as 64-bit or 32-bit. So if you are 64-bit, then install this one, Windows x86 64 executable installer. Choose this one. If you are if your machine is 64-bit Windows. Okay, now if you are 32-bit, then choose this one, Windows x86, just x86. Okay, 64-bit choose this one, 32-bit choose this one. Okay, after clicking on this, you will be download a file that is nearly 26 MB. Okay, after downloading this, just click on this and install. Just follow the steps and give the next or install now, and then it will install the Python. Okay, this is for steps in Windows. Now we'll see for Linux machines. Okay, so install Python in Linux is very easy. So just open up the terminal here. Okay, open the terminal, and then in Linux is just a command to install, that is sudo apt get install Python. Just that's it. Okay, you click this, it just asks you the root password, and then it will install the will download and install the Python. That's it. Okay, I will just canceling the operation, so because I have already installed. Okay, after you install this file, and okay, in Windows user, if you install this file, and if you're the Linux user, if you type this command and install the Python, after installing this, just type Python. Okay, just type Python and give enter. Windows users also open the command prompt. Okay, Windows users open the command prompt, you will be like this only. Okay, for Linux users open the terminal. Okay, and then give enter, type python and give enter. You will be like this. Okay, you will see this. Okay, the python version I'm using is 2.7.18, not 2.7.18. I have 3 also. If you type python, you will see different version. Okay, so because in my machine I have 3 versions. Okay, so I have 3 here, 2.x version here, and 3.x version also I have, and a 3.6 version also I have. So it's not matter, the python the version is not matter. So just put python and give enter. If you are just if you have only one version of python, you will see that python, that version of python. If you have 2 or 3, no, that's will be different, like this, that like mine. Okay, okay, no problem. So you'll be like here. So everyone is now here, and then just check whether it is working or not. Just put print brackets, and here give double quotes, and type something hello world like that. Okay, and close the double quotes and close the brackets. Okay, right, now give enter. Okay, now these are output. It is giving hello world. Okay, now it is working perfectly, no problem. Okay, don't worry about this. This is a print is a function used to give the output. So what it will do, it will just print whatever you are giving here, right, in the brackets. So this is the output statement of python. So I said no, from single line you can just give the output hello world. Okay, okay, now we will move on to the next slide. So now we have installed the python. Okay, so now we'll see the various methods which we can run python code. Okay, first we'll see what interactive shell. So we have already done that interactive shell. So this is an interactive shell. So the greater keywords here. So this is the interactive shell. Whatever if you do, it will give the instant output. So if I put 2 plus 2, it will give me 4, like the same way. 9 minus 5, 4. Okay, so you can use this interactive shell as a simple calculator as you can use. Or else if you want to check whether this line is correct or not, then you can type the line here into interactive shell, and then you can see whether there is errors or not. Okay, so this is the interactive shell. Now we'll move on to the next type of running python is script. So this is scripting. That means scripting is nothing but creating a file and writing the code inside the file. So let me open some text editor. Okay, let me open notepad plus plus. Okay, so now in the interactive shell, one more thing I have forgot. So in interactive shell you can write only one code in once. Okay, so just type the single line and then run. Okay, single line and then run, that's it. In interactive shell only you can run one line, but in the scripting method, no, you can write multiple lines. I will just open sorry create a new file and save it as. So python files are saved in the .py extension, right? What .py extension? Wait, I'll save as uh, we'll save in the desktop. Okay, we'll save in the desktop. Just give the name sample, and then select the type, that is python. Here, python file. Okay, so uh, automatically it will put .py extension. Okay, so just save the file. So now we are created the file. Now what we'll type the output of Python, just print hello world, or you can print good morning, right? Okay, so you have written two lines. So now save this file, and then to run this Python file, what you need to do is open the terminal. Okay, open the terminal, and now uh, go to the folder where the file is saved. So this file is saved in desktop, so I will move to desktop, cd desktop, right? Okay, now if you want to see this file, you will see like sample.py here. No, is the file. Okay, so inside this file we have written two lines. So to run this Python file, all we have to do is just put the Python keyword Python and then give space. Okay, now type the file name sample.py. That's it. If you click the enter button, then it will give the output. So it will run the Python code and then it will give you the output. So what we have, print hello world and print good morning. The output is here. You can see here in the terminal. Okay. So this is the way you can run the Python script. Okay. So now we'll close this file and then we'll see the next method of running Python code. So next is IDE. So what is IDE? IDE is nothing but integrated development environment. Okay, what did I say? Integrated development environment. So for example, there are I am PyCharm IDE, Spider, PyDev, Visual Studio. They are the IDEs for Python. Okay, so if you want to install this ID, why? Okay, so before that, why we need the ID, right? So the question arises, no, why we need IDs? So let's say you are going to develop an application, right? So in the application, we will have not only single file, we have multiple files. So at the same time, you need to modify the, let's say, four files. At the same time, you need to modify the four files and then run the whole project, right? So that time you need a special software to do to less your job. So what it will do, it will help you to code the Python code in a simple way. So just if you type two letters of the, let's say, print here, no, so if I type pr, it will show the options, what are the available options for the word print or whatever it is. Okay, it will help you to write the code in a intelligent way. Okay, so that's why we are using an IDE. Okay, uh, to install this IDEs, you need to download them first. All right, so I will show you some of this. One is PyCharm, like PyCharm. It has PyCharm for Linux, Windows, Mac, all the. Okay, so all the voices you can download PyCharm. So PyCharm comes in two versions. One is professional and another one is community. Okay, so professional comes in paid version. This paid version of PyCharm is the free version of Python, PyCharm. So you can download it. Initially, just you can download the community version itself. No problem. Okay. So as I said before, suppose Windows, Mac, and Linux. Okay, Mac, Linux. Three versions are there. So sorry, three OSs are there. Okay, just download this file and then install it. After installing them, you can just type PyCharm and it will come, and then give enter. It will start the software. Okay, I'm not going to run the software. Because Actually, PyCharm is good, but it is what to say. In my machine, it is hanging because of the less memory. Okay, if you have less memory, no, it will not work efficiently. So my machine is like low RAM. So if your machine also has low requirements, then I refer sorry I refer Visual Studio Code. I recommend you to install Visual Studio Code. This runs if you have a low memory also. It runs efficiently. So as this also comes for Linux, Mac, Windows. So if you are a Linux, you can just download .deb, or depending on the version of Linux. So if you are Windows, you can select this. If you are Mac, you can select this. Okay. So after installing that, you can just start Visual Studio Code. Okay, I will show you. No problem. So because Visual Studio is like a editor, but it supports Python. How? Because in the Visual Studio Code, no, there is an option called extensions. So you need to download extension for Python. Okay. So after downloading that, no, you can run Python code. Okay. So there you go in the extensions, no, in this option you can just type Python. Not only Python, you can write C, C++, what, uh, every languages you can write in Visual Studio Code. So just install the Python, sorry, here Python extension. Okay, and that's it. After installing the Python extension, you can write Python code and run the Python code. That's it. Okay, this is how the Visual Studio Code looks like. Wait. Okay, so now uh, we'll see what spider or whatever. Okay, now if you want to, if you are going to develop something like website or application, then I recommend you to uh, install PyCharm or Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now if you are going to do artificial intelligence or machine learning, deep learning projects, then I recommend you to install Anaconda. Okay, Anaconda supports the machine learning tools. It gives you all the machine learning and deep learning tools. So just install the Anaconda. It gives you some of the products like Jupyter Notebook, Spider, Jupyter Lab, and R Studio. These are all softwares you can find in one software, Anaconda. Okay, so you can download this from this website anaconda.com for Windows, Mac, Linux. Okay, so it has the libraries for machine learning. Okay, all the libraries you can find here in the Anaconda. If you download PyCharm, you need to manually install the libraries for machine learning, but in the Anaconda it has already pre-built. Okay, now we'll see the next method of running Python, at this IPython. IPython, for example, Jupyter and Google Colab. If you install Anaconda, you will find Jupyter. Okay, so now we'll see Google Colab. So Google Colab is one of the best. I recommend all of the peoples, because if you are starting a beginner, no, then use Google Colab, because you don't have to install any software in your machine. Nothing to do. Just create an account, Google account, and then go to the drive. Okay, you can start running the Python. How? Just go to the new button and click on the more. It will show you. Wait, it is just loading. Okay, it will show you more here. In the more, you will find Google Collaboratory. So if it doesn't seem to you, then what we need to do is click on connect more apps and then search for Google Collaboratory, and then you can install it from here. uh, let's just type Collaboratory. So it is installed already for me. So if you are new, it will show you install. Just click on the button install and then it will install it for you, and then you can start creating the notebook. So Google Collaboratory is type of IPython. uh, IPython means it comes like a cell by cell. You can uh, uh, type some text, or you can type some codes in a cell. Okay, so you can create multiple cells. You can write. It's called a notebook because let's say if you are submitting an article like that, so then you can write it as a notebook and then you will submit. Okay, so that you can do in the Jupyter or Collaboratory. So this is very simple. After clicking the button Google Collaboratory, you will be created a file. After creating this, just you need to click in the connect button, and then it will connect into runtime. Now after connecting that, you can start type coding. Okay. Why my chat box is not opening? It's not coming down. Okay. So now you can start type coding. Print hello world. So if you want to run this, you can simply press shift enter or control enter. If I type shift enter, it will run the code and create a new cell. But if you want to run this particular cell, you can just type uh, control enter. Okay. So or else this button showing here, no, you can press this button to run as well. Okay, this is a collaboratory. Now we have seen. Now what else we have web. So if you don't have a Google account, if you don't know how to create this, no problem. There is one option for you to run Python code. It has that is online compilers. So in online compiler, you can online GDP. It is best. I have used this one, online GDP. So you can write Python code here and run inside this one. Uh, So it is giving you print hello world. To run this, just click on the run button. It will give you the output. That's it. Okay. So in online also we can type the run the Python. This is the ways you can run Python. Now we'll move on to next slide, that is working of Python. This is the last slide. So because we know how to run Python, now uh, I will explain to you how Python is working. Okay. So initially we have the source code. Source code is nothing but the Python code we have in the file. Let's say sample.py. This is the file I'm going to run. So inside this file I have two lines, print hello world and print good morning. Okay. So then what it will do? So we have the source code, the file. Okay. Now it is given to the compiler. Okay. The Python compiler is returned in C language. What we are using now, the Python is called a C Python, right? We are using a C Python compiler. Okay. So usually that is called a C Python, and in Python we have other distributions like The compiler of Python is written in Java, that is Jython, and in C++ Python, and we have Python itself, PyPy. It's called PyPy, PyPython, right? The compiler is written in Python, that is PyPython. So all these are distributions. Just now we are using the C Python only. Okay, and what it will do, this compiler will convert the source code into what? Bytecode. This is the process of compiler. It's converting one language to another language. Okay, this is the job of compiler. Okay, if it, after converting the bytecode, what it will do, it will run the bytecode inside a virtual machine. Inside virtual machine, what we have interpreter. So it will run the code in the interpreter until it will produce the machine code. Okay, and machine code will run in the machine. That's it. Okay, so why we are having virtual machine here? So to make the Python portable and platform independent, they are not depend on the machine, right? They are not depend on the machine, because they are actually creating a virtual machine for them. Inside the virtual machine we have interpreter. Okay, so now we can run this Python code anywhere. Okay, because we have the virtual machine, we can run Python code. That's it. Okay, so this interpreter will read one by one line from this bytecode file, and then it will produce the machine code. That's it. Okay, this is a working of Python. Okay, so now we all know about Python. We have done the introduction about the Python. Let's move on to the other things, like let's see. We know that this is an output statement, print is an output statement. So in print you can do many things, like you can add two numbers also. 2 plus 2, print 2 plus 2, it will print you the value. Not only single value, you can print multiple values, like hello. If you want to print multiple values, then you need to put comma here. Okay, you can say 9 minus 5, or uh, by, like that. You can print multiple values, right? Not only a single value, you can print multiple values using the print function. So print is in a output function. Okay, in Python. Okay, so now I will see the data types. Okay, right? Data types, we'll see what is data types, because all the datas are not equal. So let's say 9 is not equal to hello. So it's the different types. 9 is a different type, hello is a different type. Okay, so that's why we have data types for that types of data. So in Python we have a three type of data. One is number type, and another one is string type, and the one is last one is boolean type. Okay, in the number type, in the number type itself we have two the three types actually. In numbers option we have three types. One is integer, and second one is float, third one is complex number. Okay, in the strings we have single line or multiple lines. Multiple lines. Okay, so this is a uh, types of data in Python. So what we have in number type, we have integer, float, complex number. In string we have single line strings or multiple lines, and we have boolean type of data. Okay, okay, now we'll see. Actually before that we need to see the uh, tokens, I think, because token is very important, because all the Python code, no, All the Python codes are divided into some parts. The parts are these tokens. The components are called tokens. In the tokens, what we have is we have identifiers, and then we have keywords. Okay, and then we have delimiters. Okay, not delimiters, first operators, and then we have delimiters, and the last one we have uh, literals. Okay, these are the tokens in the Python. Okay, we are if you type a Python code, if you have a Python code that are divided into some components, the components are called tokens. The tokens are identifiers, keywords, operators, delimiters, literals. Okay, so we'll see one by one. So identifiers are nothing but uh, are the names of variables, or names of variables, class, function, functions, like that. These are the identifiers. Okay, in identifiers we have some rules to follow them. So we need to follow the rules. That is, it should start from, it must, not should, it must start with alphabet, alphabets, like A to Z. Okay, A to Z characters, small or big, no problem, uppercase or lowercase letters. Okay, or underscore. Okay, so it must start with the alphabetical letters or underscore. Okay, so we cannot use numbers as a starting letter of the identifiers. Okay, it may contain numbers. It can contain, okay, it can contain numbers in the next of the character. Next of the character means first character should be an alphabet or underscore, then you can have numbers in the identifiers. Contain numbers. Okay, then what we have, it is uh, okay, and then we have, it is okay. So the identifiers cannot cannot contain special characters. Special character example, the percentile star, all we have, no, these are the special characters. It cannot contain special character. Okay, the identifiers. uh, and then it is case sensitive. Case sensitive means lowercase letters are different from uppercase letters. Okay, uh, case sensitive, that means, for example, age is not equal to age. Okay, age is not equal to age. This is again sensitive. Okay, these are the rules we need to follow to create identifier. So identifiers are variables names, class names, and functions names. Okay, so first we need to know how to create a variable. So first we need to know variables. Variables are nothing but a container. Okay, so it contains some values. So for that container we have a name, that is identifier. Here we have a name, no, to identify the container. And then the container have a memory location, because where it is stored, no, so where it is stored, it will have a memory address. Okay, So the memory address, using the memory address, it will access from the memory, and it will fetch the value. Okay, and then it will give it to you. So to create a variable, it is very simple. You need to follow these rules. So it must start with a character. Okay, it can contain numbers. Sorry, it may contain numbers. So let's say I'm just putting a. Okay, a itself. Okay, now I want to store 10 on the a. How we can do that? Just put equal to here. Equal to is an operator. Okay, assignment operator, we'll see that later. Assignment operator. So a equal 10. Now what we have in the a is 10. We created a variable. Okay, that's it. A equal to 10. Okay, a is a variable. Now if we call the a, if you call a, it will give you 10. Okay, because in the a container what we have a 10 value. So to know the address, memory address of the variable, just put id. Okay, id, it will give you the memory address. Okay, this is the memory address of the a variable. Okay, so why it is named as variable means, in the runtime, uh, whenever you want, you can change the values. I can change a equal to 34 whenever I want. Okay, this is a type of integer. If you want to know the type of variable, it's just simple. Just put type of a. Okay, type of a, it will give you what is the type of data it has. It is integer type of data. So I have already told you that is, we have integer, float, and complex number. So float is nothing but the decimal point numbers. So let's say b equal to 56.8. This is a float type. If we put type of b, you will see that is what? Float. Okay, the data type is float. Now what we have, another type, we have complex numbers. So in higher schools, we have higher studies, we have studied complex numbers. In complex number, what we have a real part and an imaginary part. So to create complex number c equal to, you can put 1 plus 3j. This is a complex number. Okay, now if I type the type of c, what we have complex number. So 1 is a real part, 3 is a imaginary part, so denoted by the j. Okay, this is imaginary part, this is real part. Okay, okay, now it is the numbers. For creating a strings, s equal to, we can put a single quotes, like this single quote, or we can put double quotes. Okay, if I'm using the single quote, yes, single quotes of, let's say my name. Okay, is a single quote, just print yes. Single quote string. If you want double quoted string, you can put double quote, no problem. Hey, print d. Okay, so this double quotes, double quoted strings. Now if I say this line, hello, how are you? So why the first line only is colored as a red, but other are black? Why is because these are multi-line strings, right? For multi-line strings, you cannot put single quotes or double quotes. Okay, this will give you error. What it will give you? It will give you error. So to create a multi-lined string, you need to put three quotes, whether it is single quote or double quotes. Okay, if I want a single quote, single quoted multi-line, you need to put single quotes three times. One, two, three. Okay. Now it is, all the lines are colored. You can see, right? All the lines are colored. So in the output, it is showing like differently. What it is showing? It is showing hello space slash n how slash n r slash nu. So don't worry about this. I will tell you what it does mean. Okay. And now actually my chat box is not opening. No, why I don't know. Um, Maybe I need to open the Zoom. It's not coming down. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so we continue. So if you want to tell something, you can unmute your mic and tell, because my chat box is not opening. Okay. Okay. These are the types of strings: single line strings or multi-line strings. And then what we have, the third type, that is Boolean. Okay. So let's say B equal to true. So it's colored as blue. So it has some meanings. Okay. This is the Boolean type true. So in Boolean data type, we have only two values. What we have true or false. Okay. For creating true, you need to put first letter as capital. And the false also, for false also, you need to put first letter as capital. Then it's colored, it will be colored as blue. Okay. These are the keywords. Okay. These are the keywords. It has some meanings. Okay. So okay, these are the types of these are the data types. Okay. Now we have seen the data types. Now data types and variables also. Now we'll move on operators. Okay. So from the operator we can end the session. Okay. Operators. So operators. So operators are nothing but it will do some operations on the operands. Okay. It takes two values and produce some results. So in Python we have eight type of operators. That is yeah, not eight type: arithmetic, arithmetical operator, assignment operator, comparison operator, comparison, logical operator, and uh, membership operator, and identity operator. Okay. Identity and bitwise, not conditional, and bitwise, and bitwise. How many types? Two, four, six, eight. Yeah, correct. Eight type of operators. Okay. So arithmetic operators means the operations like addition, subtraction, division. Okay, multiplication. Addition, for addition it is plus, subtraction minus. For division slash, multiplication star. We have another to get the modulo part, that is modulus. And we have what we have integer division, that is double slash. Or power, if you want a to the power b, we can put double star. Okay. That's it. Why it's not coming the double star? Okay, I think it has some meanings. Okay. What? Okay. So these are the arithmetical operators. Now for assignment operators, we have plus equal to, sorry, first will be equal to also an assignment operator. Plus equal to, minus equal to, divide equal to multiply equal to. So we can do whatever the arithmetical operators we do now. The same thing we can do for the assignment operator. Okay, so these are the assignment operators, and we have comparison operators. Comparison operator nothing but equal to compare two values. These are that is equal or less than or greater than, like that. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay, right? Not equal to. For not equal to, it will be exclamatory and equal to. It's not equal to. These are comparison operator. For logical operator, we have and or not, and comma or comma not. These are logical operators. This membership operator is in. In is a membership operator, and is a identity operator. Conditional operator is if on true, if condition, else on false. Okay, this is the syntax for conditional operator. Don't worry about that. I will explain you. Bitwise operator are and or not. This for not. This for no, this for not. Not this one. We have or and we have XOR. Okay, these are bitwise operators. And also I think we have left shift, right shift. I think right shift and left shift. We have right shift, left shift. We have. So these are bitwise operators. So all this is operators of Python. Okay, we'll see one by one. Now we'll see first arithmetical operator. Let's create variable of a equal 10 and b equal to, let's say, 20, 30. Okay, for arithmetic operators, just a plus b, a minus b. Okay, print a divide b, a multiply by b, and print a integer division b, integer division b, and print a modulo b, and now a to the power of b, a to the power of b. Okay, these are arithmetical operators. Let's run this. Okay, the outputs for the addition, all the arithmetical operators. Okay, and now we will see assignment operator. I'm creating a variable a equal to 40. Okay, now I'm going to increment that a plus equal to 5. Okay, so equality is actually is an assignment operator. What it will do, it will assign this value to the variable. Okay, now what we have, a plus equal to 5. So if you expand the a plus equal to 5, it will be like this: a equal to a plus 5. That's it. This is the just short version of this one. Okay, okay, now in the code, if you want to comment, like comments means the line which will not affect the coding. So if you want to do some messages, you can put here like this hash. After that, you can put whatever values we have. It will not run in the as a Python code. Okay, and what we have a minus equal to 5, and a divide equal to 5, a multiply equal to 5, a integer divide equal to 5, a modulo equal to 5. Every time if you run the assignment operator, uh, the variable a will be updated. Okay, a power equal to 5. Now all this operation after this will print a. After addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, what we have 243. That's it. This is for assignment operators. And then what we have comparison operator. Let's create two variables. To, 56. Now I want to compare these two variables. Let's see if the two variables are equal. Okay, in the comparison operator, the output will be on boolean values, true or false. Let's see it is less than, or let's see it is greater than. And for less than or equal to also, a less than or equal to b, and print a greater than or equal to b, and print a not equal to b. Okay, these are comparison operators. The output is will be true or false only. Okay, on a type of boolean type. Okay, so we have seen three type of operators, and the fourth is logical operator, and or not. And or not, these logical operators will only work with boolean type of data. That means we have three type of operators, no, and or not. So first we'll see for and for and operations we have like true and true. And means when you have like two values will be given in the and, this two value, if you have true only, will be true, the result will be true. If one we have a false, one value will be false, the result will be false. False. Okay, we have false and true, false and true also false, false and false also false, false. Okay, this is the operations for and. Okay, now we'll see operations for or get. These are called logical gates. Okay, in the or, if you have one value as true, the result will be true. Okay, in this we have one value true, so the result will be true. Now true, sorry, and not and, or true or true, that is true. True or false, that is also true, because we have one true value, no, one value is true, then the result will be true. So like that, false and true, false or true, also true. False or false is false, false or false is false. Okay, so this is a gate of or gate. And for not gate, not takes only one value. It takes let's say not true. Okay, it takes only one value. If not true means false, not false means true. Okay, not not false means true. Okay, it's the three logical gate. Let's see in the coding. Okay, so you want just print the let's say true and true, like that, or print true or true. These are the keywords we have for logical operators. And or not, print not true. Okay, so these are all keywords, the highlighted parts, no, the the blue colors. Okay, so true and true is true. True or true is also true. Not true is false. Okay, this is logical operator. Now then, what we have, the fourth membership in operator. So in operator is nothing but it will check whether the sequence is in the object. Okay, for example, let's say I have in the quotes, let's say a string I have a. Okay, so I want to check is a is on the object, what on what, on a different string. Let's say hello, a is in the hello. It will check, the in operator will check if the a sequence, this sequence, whatever a or al, whatever it is. So it will check a is in the hello or not. Okay, now if I run this, you can see false, because a is not in the hello string. If I put e there, then e is in the hello, so it is giving me true. So it will not only e, it also it can have a sequence of values el. It will check el is there. Yes, el is there. Okay, if I put evo, it will give me false because evo is not there. Okay, evo is not there. So this is the membership operator. Now we have identity operators. Identity operators is not to check the values, because in comparison operator we are checking the values, but in the identity operator we don't check the value. We check is the type of the variables are matching, and the memory should be matched. Okay, memory and the object should match, object type. Okay, let's say a equal to 5. Okay, b equal to 10. Okay, now the type is same, but the memory address is different. If I say a is b, a is b, it will say no, not false. If I put 5 there, it is saying true, because it is the same object, right? Object type also same for id of the 5, the memory id, that is also same, because if you check the memory address, sorry, type of a comma type, sorry, not type, id of a and id of b, it should be same, and the type also same, we know that. So the memory address also same. That's why the is operator is giving me true. Okay, so we know that what is will do is will compare the data type of the variable, and then it will compare the memory address, it should be same, then only it is giving give you true. Okay, now uh, and then we have conditional and bitwise. So from two we can end up this session. So conditional operator is nothing but in the real life scenario also, let's say I want to go my home, I have two ways. Okay, I have two ways, I need to choose one way. What way I will choose? The way it is shorter to my home, I can uh, okay, so I can go to the way. So like the same way, the conditional operator comes like, so it will have the true value and the false value. That means we have a condition. Okay, so that condition will be true or false, right? If that true, what I want to do. If that is false, what I want to do. That's what the conditional probability conditional operator we need to do. Let's take a simple example. So we need to find is a is even number or odd number. Okay, so what I will do, I will just put even. Okay, on true. Okay, remember the syntax. Remember the syntax. On true if condition, on else on false. This is the syntax for conditional operator. Okay, on true means if the condition is true, what I want to print, I want to print even. Okay, then space I will put if, and then space I will put the condition. So for checking the even number or not odd number, we have the condition like this: a percentile by 2 equal to 0. Why? Is because if you divide 10 or even numbers with 2, the remainder will be 0. For getting the remainder, we use the modulo operator, right? So using this modulo operator, we can get the remainder. So if the remainder is 0, then that is even number. Else what? Else that is odd number. Okay, that's it. Simple. Very simple example of conditional operator, even or odd number. If I put 11 there, it will give me odd. Okay, right? Okay. Now this is a um, conditional operator. Now bitwise operator. So the last one. Okay. So the bitwise operator is when I say a equal 10 and b equal to 20, if I say a plus b, it will give me what? 30, right? Correct. But inside this, what we are doing, for example, a plus b means it is adding these two numbers, right? But in the bitwise operator, we don't work with numbers, we work with binaries. Okay, so if I want to find the binary of a 10, so all the values have a binary value. Okay, so for binary of the a, that will be 1010. Binary of 20 will be different. Okay, so the and or not, right? This and or not you can use with bitwise operator. Okay, let's say I am putting a or b, what it will do. Okay, so I will see the result first, and then I will tell you the result. A or b is 30, so I will tell you what it is doing. First, let's take the binary of 10. Let's see the binary of 10. That is right, what is 1010, right? Binary of 10 is 1010. For binary of 20, binary of 20 is 10100. That is 4-digit number. Now we'll go with 10100. Okay, so this is a uh, binary number of what? 20. Okay, now if I'm doing or, that means what it will do, it will, okay, so we have 0 as false, 1 as true. Okay, now we have or operation. Let's take the first element 0, of the second number 0. So 0 or 0, that is 0. 0 or 0, that is 0. And then what we have? 1 and 0. 1 or 0, sorry, or operation. No, 1 or 0, false or true, that is true. So you can put 1 here. Now and then 0 1, false or true, 1. Okay, and then what we have? True, 1 0. We have 1 or 0, that means true or false. True or false also true. Okay, so here we don't have any values. Okay, now what we'll do, uh, uh, we'll convert this to numerical one. uh, let's see. To convert something, we can use the integer class. Convert this into binarical 1 0 b 1 1 1 4 1 0. No, 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 no. So let's take the manually, we'll convert. So this part is 1 and this part is, okay, now 16 and 32. Now what values we have? This is 0, this is 1, and this also 1, 1, this also 4 ones, I think. Okay, 4 ones means we need to add the values where the 1 is there. So we will add 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16. So to add up the values, we'll get 30. Right, that is our result here. Okay, this is the operation for bitwise operators. This is how the bitwise operator works. Okay, so now we will in came to end. So any doubts you can ask. We'll end up this session. Okay, from this. Any doubts? My chat box is not opening, but I think I can hear your voice.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you for this nice session. I have a question.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when you are defining the data types, so you said there are strings and there are numbers. So, in the numbers, you have integer and
Float.
floats and imaginary, correct? So, in case of
Yeah.
imaginary, you are using j as I.
Yeah.
I mean that root of negative one. So that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
reserved variable, or we can also use j for other purpose like indexing or something.
No. No. This is a syntax for creating a complex number. Uh, After that, a number followed by the j, that will be a imaginary part. Okay, in Python.
Okay, so we don't have to you define j before using it. We can just
No, no, no,
take it
you
as
can just put j. You can just put
okay.
j. It will understand because the Python knows the number after the j, after comes the j, then that will be an imaginary part of a
Okay,
complex number.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Any others have doubts?
Ifan, will
Yeah.
there be any additional session for the next features in Python?
Yeah, in Python, for Python, we have 11 sessions allowed, like from day 4 to day 14. I will show you the uh, agenda,
Yeah, sure.
the syllabus I will show you.
Yeah, definitely.
So, this is a syllabus. So, we have already taken 1 to 3, day 1 to day 3. So, we are now day 4. What we have introduction to Python, setting up environment, data types we have all seen, variables we have seen, and operators we have seen. Okay, right? So the same way we have day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9 till day 14. For day 14 till we have Python sessions completely. Okay,
All right, all right,
day 4 to day 14, and then we'll move on to machine learning. Okay,
all right. Yeah,
from day
perfect.
15 to day 29. Okay, this is our uh, syllabus.
All right, all right. So
Okay,
tomorrow, the same time,
tomorrow
there will
will
be a
be,
session, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
same
right.
time. Yeah,
Okay, okay,
tomorrow will be control structures, if class, loops, and jump statements.
okay, okay, Mohammed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, any others have doubts? I think no
Um,
one
yeah,
have doubts.
Mohammed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a small doubt. For character and string, both will be represented with single quotes and as well as double quotes, right?
And on one more point, I have forgot to tell you. Everything in any value you have in the under the quotes, not only the characters, you can have numbers, you can have special characters. These are all called what? String only. Okay,
Yeah, right.
everything in any value you assign under the quotes, single quote, double quote, or triple quote, that is considered as string only. Okay.
Yes, Mohammed. Yeah. Is there any data type for char? Something like for Java and
No,
other
no,
languages? Yeah.
no, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Right. Right. Okay.
Only
Okay.
this one, string only.
String. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
we can use for many purposes string now.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. 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 Yeah. Thanks, Mohammed. Yeah.
Okay, so because character is only one character, but string is a sequence of
Multiple.
characters, like
Yeah. Right. Right.
yeah.
Right. You're right.
Hmm. Any other doubts?
No, Mohammed. I'm good.
Okay.
Hello, Irfan. I
Yeah,
have another doubt if I am allowed. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so if we are, let's say we are writing a code in Fortran, then we have to specify this memory location also while you are defining the variable, right? Like where is that variable stored? But here in Python, we don't have to do that.
No, 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 because it is in the back end, it is creating a for every variable it will create a id, the memory address. Okay, so
Okay.
using that memory address only you can access the value. Okay, so let's say I'm staying in let's say my address is Palavakam. No, so how you will see me? You will come into Palavakam and then see me. So I
Yes.
have an address, you have an address,
Yes.
everyone has an address. Okay, so it is created in backend. In backend it is creating.
Okay.
You don't have
Thank
to
you.
specify that.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah,
Actually, I related to the same question. Actually, you say that A equal to 5 and B equal to 5. So it refer the same address, right? I am asking is
yeah.
AS have the value. That means which one is keeping the address? A keeping the address or 5
Uh,
is keeping the address?
yeah, nice question. But to explain this, so you need to go into in depth. Like if you are doing a equal to 5 and b equal to 5, no. So everything is an object in Python. If you see in object oriented, I will explain you that. Initially, like he's asking, no, what it is it? 5 is an object of integer. Okay, so in the backend it is creating an object. Okay, it has a class for integer, it is creating an object. So object will not be like the class is the same, no. It is having the same object. 5 is the same object for everything. Okay, that's why it is having the same memory location for everything, not only the integer, for string, for integers, or for boolean, we have a class. Okay, using that class it is creating an object. Okay, that's why the objects are same here. 5 is the same, no. For 5 it is creating a same object. That's it.
Okay. So A, B, and 5, all three variables have same address, something like that.
Yeah, ab has some say, has the same address.
5
A and
also.
b. Yeah, yeah, if I put a id of 5 and id of a and id of b, see, same addresses, right? Because now it is an object of integer, no, that's why it is giving me the same objects, same addresses. Okay,
Okay, thank
I
you.
think it
Thank you.
would be different. I'm just trying out. Let's see if I'm doing int of 5. Yeah, it is same as same address we have. Okay, any other doubts?
If the value is different, then address will be different, right? Say like a equal
Yeah,
to 6 or
of
something like that.
course,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. Yeah, here see, it is 60. Yeah, it is different, different from this. This also difference from this, because a is 3, no, for 3 we have different location. Okay, any other doubts? Oh, I have forgot to explain this. Okay, no problem, we will explain tomorrow. It's called escape sequences, so I will explain tomorrow, because already 8:07, so we'll end up this
Irfan,
session.
Irfan, I have
Ah,
just a small question. Suppose you
yeah,
define a variable as a string in the as a float in the first place. Let's say a is equal to 3.2 you define, and in the next iteration you change the value to a integer. Let's say is equal to 4. Is that possible?
yeah, variable is the name itself, it is varying, na. Variable means whenever you are writing the program,
Yes.
wherever or whenever you can change the value. Not only the integers, we can also change by strings also.
Okay.
I'm putting 3.2 here number, and then I am putting string a equal
Okay.
string. Now it will the value will be changed, the variable is updated. Okay.
Okay. So it is very user friendly compared to Fortran then. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because in other languages, no, if you put int a equal to, I'm just explaining you, yeah, int a equal to 10, no, then what
Yes.
you have to do is you need to convert into another type. If I cannot put a equal to something like characters, I cannot,
Hmm.
because it's a type of integer.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
we cannot assign a character.
Yes.
Okay, this is a static type of language, but Python is a dynamic type of languages. It knows what is the type of value. The value
Okay.
is string, so it will convert into string. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Okay, we are bigdatahandson.com, our website bigdatahandson.com, so you can visit our website, and the contact number is if you have any doubts, just message to this WhatsApp number 97898884424 or 9566182384, or you can send email through support@bigdatahandson.com. Okay, so our videos will be uploaded in our channel, YouTube channel. One person asked, na, uh, our YouTube channel bigdatahandson.com. If you visit and subscribe our channel, then you will get the updates. Okay, sorry, bigdatahandson.com. So these are our previous videos. You can see them, the probability and statistics we have took. Okay, now we are starting the Python. So the video will be uploaded today, maybe, inshallah. Okay, we'll see tomorrow. Bye. Bye. Okay, I don't know how to
Thanks a lot,
stop
Ifan.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, stop share also is not working, the button. So how to stop that? Anyone knows? the the stop share is not working. Why I don't?
I think better you can click on the leave a meeting.
Yes, you
Ifan.
can leave the meeting in that case. Yes.
Yeah. That would be
No,
much better.
the upper part, no, the drop down is not working. The
Oh,
stop share
okay.
also is not working.
Okay.
Can you double click it on the screen?
No, it's not coming. I think